established rich coming right back at you. Today's conversation is not about beef music, it's not about streaming jokes, and it's definitely not about internet clout. This is about boundaries, this is about access, and this is about what happens when people who are guests in our culture start acting like they run the house. I want to start right there because context matters. Adin Ross did not build his platform from scratch inside hip-hop. He was introduced to our world through black entertainers. He was co-signed through black culture. He was normalized through black spaces. LeBron James' son put a spotlight on him. Rappers sat with him. Artists gave him access. And little by little, he got comfortable. That's not an insult, that's a fact. And there is nothing wrong with being a guest in our house until you forget that you a guest.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't understand what's so hard for people to admit that they're an industry plant. It's a very easy concept. When you sign to a label, when you sign with an agency, when you sign with anything, certain people are bad. They have bad intentions. They try to push you, and they try to push you so hard to the point where they cheat the system. That's a real thing. That's a real thing with actors. That's a real thing with streamers. I'm not gonna say names. That's a real thing with streamers, and that's a real thing with musicians. I don't understand. No, but genuinely serious. It's like a real thing. I don't understand. Does Doechii not realize that it's a real thing, industry plants? And she's an industry plant? Like, I'm confused. Like, you do not make good music. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't understand. It's a hard concept. Nobody here is listening to this. You think you could just get this song cleared from the people who originally made this beat? No, you had a fucking label do it, stole it, and got pushed on TikTok. This shit is garbage. This song is like actually meant for like theater kids. That's why you lost 40 million fucking Spotify listeners and
not hit a reason with them. Misbehave,
I guess it says 300 million views. Come on. Like guys, man. You're gonna see this, and you're gonna see this with a lot of artists. You're gonna see this with a lot of actors. You're gonna see this with a lot of people. They come, they go. It's very easy to see when someone is an industry plant. It's not because they have talent. Hey, Doechii, you might have talent to the theater kids. I'm gonna be honest with you. But this music is garbage.
Now let's talk about what just happened. Adin Ross gets on stream with 6ix9ine and cuff him. They decide to turn a live stream into a diss session. And out of all of the people to become a target, they pick Doechii, someone who puts the work in. And before anybody tries to turn this into a race argument, let me be very clear. This is not about race in the way people love to water it down. This is about position. Doechii is not a streamer. She ain't no gimmick. She not an artist who popped up yesterday. She is doing the work. She is making records. She is standing in her talent. And the response from that by Adin Ross is to call her an industry plant, question her intelligence, and then turn around and worry about getting sued the second he opens his mouth. Think about that for a second. You bold enough to diss her, but you ain't confident enough to stand on it. That tells you everything you need to know. When you have to say allegedly in your own diss verse, you are not built for hip-hop conversations. You playing a game you don't even understand.
I hope everyone... Oh, Doechii rant? Oh, dude, don't get me started on that bitch. Hey, don't get me started on that bitch. Don't get me started on that industry plant. Don't get me started. You guys can say shit whatever you want about me, but one thing about me is I'm not an industry plant. I've been streaming for like a long time now. Fuck Doechii. The umbrella clip pissed me off. What an entitled, unintelligent piece of shit she is, bro. She deserves... Bro, I'm not joking, bro. Stop listening to her music. Cardi and Abel, why would you give her a feature on a remix? You shouldn't have cleared it. She's just the worst. She's a piece of shit. She stole someone like that I used to know. She makes no good music. She's horrible. Jake Future, what's up, my dog? So fuck Doechii. Fuck Doechii. Fuck Doechii.
And then there's 6ix9ine. Let's not pretend this is something it's not. 6ix9ine is no longer a rapper in the traditional sense. He's a content weapon. He goes where the check is. He says whatever gets a reaction, and he creates chaos, because chaos is the only currency he has left. This is why I say he's turned into the Charleston White of rap. No code, no community, no artistic direction, just noise. His career as a serious music artist is over, and he know it. So when he shows up on a stream encouraging Adin Ross, this ain't hip-hop unity. This is the circus finding new talent. And here's the part that should really bother you. Doechii addressed the industry plant rumors in a new song. She did what artists are supposed to do. She responded in her art. And the response from streamers is to mock it, dismiss it, and reduce it to chat jokes. Hip-hop has always had a place for criticism, but it also had a rule. You had to earn your voice. Adin Ross did not earn the right to speak down on Doechii's talent. He was given access, not authority. And when he gets checked, what do we stand on? Not intelligence, not art, not culture. He stand on money. Every time he feels disrespected, his response is, I'm richer than you. And that right there tells you exactly who he is. Money is not wisdom. Money is not character. Money is not cultural understanding. It's just money. And money does not make you qualified to speak on a culture that was here long before you came around. And it'll be here long after you gone. This is why this matters. Because the more guests get comfortable disrespecting people inside the house, the more confusion starts to set in about who the culture is really for. Hip-hop is not a playground. It's not a content form. It's not a place where you can punch down for engagement and then hide behind, it's just a joke. If you think this is just about Doechii, then you're missing the point. This is about a pattern. First it's artists, then it's politics, then it's whoever gets the most reaction. And at no point does responsibility enter the room. Now let's talk about what this really represents, because this is bigger than Doechii, bigger than Adin Ross, and definitely bigger than any stream clip. What we are watching is a collision between two different value systems. Hip-hop is rooted in contribution. Stream culture is rooted in interruption. Hip-hop is built on craft, repetition, and community memory. Stream culture is built on moments that disappear as fast as they trend. And when those two worlds clash, you get exactly what we just saw. Not debate, just noise colliding with discipline. Doechii represents the old rules still working. Work ethic, identity, skill set. Adin Ross represents a new lane that don't require none of that. And here's the problem with that lane. It don't know when to stop. Stream culture rewards escalation. Every time a line is crossed, the algorithm asks for another one. What starts as joking becomes disrespect. What starts as commentary becomes attack. What starts as content becomes character. That's why this matters. Because when someone who does not understand hip-hop treats it as a costume, they don't know which lines are permanent. They think everything is resettable. And hip-hop don't work like that. Hip-hop remembers. This is why Doechii's response was important, even though she didn't say no names. She didn't speak to the streamers. She spoke to the culture. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room people keep dancing around. Adin Ross is not confident in this space. That's why he panicked. That's why he worried about consequences. That's why he needed somebody else to co-sign the disrespect. People who belong don't do that. People who belong speak their mind and move on. And this is where 6ix9ine comes in. Not as an artist, but as a function. He is not there for hip-hop. He is there to absorb the heat. He is the human lightning rod for bad ideas. When somebody want to say something they know won't land right, they stand next to him so the backlash splits in half. That's not an alliance. He using you. And it tells you exactly how this whole thing was framed. Not as a statement, not as a stance, but as a shield. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable for a lot of people. Hip-hop don't need Adin Ross. Hip-hop don't need 6ix9ine. Hip-hop don't need stream culture for validation, but stream culture needs hip-hop. It needs the language. It needs the aesthetic. It needs the energy. And when it doesn't get respect in return, this is the result. Mockery disguised as opinion. This is why people felt the way about a black woman being a target. Not because of race alone, but because of position. Doechii did everything the right way. And that makes her a threat to people who skip the process. This is not about whether or not she's untouchable. This is about whether or not she earned it. And she did. The real question now was not whether or not Adin Ross would keep talking. The real question is whether or not hip-hop will stop listening. Because every time the culture entertains this, it lowers the bar for what gets called participation. And that's how you lose the room without realizing it. Hip-hop is not a playground. It's not a costume. And it's not a clout tool you rent when you need attention. Hip-hop is a culture that was built by people who didn't have any other options. It was built by people who had to create value out of nothing. And it was built by people who understood that words meant something, even after the camera turned off. Right now, what we watching is a generation who thinks everything is content until consequences show up. They think every room is the same until one room stops laughing. Doechii didn't need to yell. She didn't need to clap back. And she did not need to perform angry. She stood where she stood because her work speaks for her. And that's what separates artists from tourists. Adin Ross can stream tomorrow. 6ix9ine can jump on another camera. The internet will move on to something else. But hip-hop will remember who contributed and who just touched it for traffic. Every culture has a boundary. Every culture has a memory, and every culture eventually decides who it keeps and who it lets drift away. If you want to be part of something real, you have to add to it. You don't get to mock it and demand acceptance at the same time. And that's really all this is. Not a beef, not a diss, not a moment. Just a reminder that hip-hop is still alive, still paying attention, and still knows the difference between somebody who built something and somebody who just walked through it. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Established Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.